Hey everybody, this is Jason from Premier Janitorial with you again. First off, I want to start off by apologizing. I know it's Friday afternoon at 1:30 versus Thursday afternoon at 1:30. I had an appointment yesterday that I just couldn't reschedule, and so anyway, we had to push today's live event to Friday. And speaking of which, I have an appointment next Thursday that I can't unfortunately change. Somebody else set the time on. So next week we will be on again Friday at 1:30. Next week I hope to have somebody here with me so you guys don't have to just keep listening to me ramble and babble on. And hopefully you're getting some value of what I'm talking about. So this week we talked about, or the topic is setting SMART goals. Just thinking about what I could talk about this week, and I thought this would be a good follow-up with last week on the time tracking. Last week we talked about getting your day back, and so goals, setting SMART goals, and we'll get into what SMART means for those of you that haven't heard about it. I'm sure some of you may have, but anyway, kind of like the taking your day back with the time tracking and getting to the end of the day. Sometimes you ever get to the end of the month or the end of the year, and you're like, man, alive, what did I accomplish this year? I wanted to get this done this year, and I never got it done. And why is that? Sometimes you ever feel like you're on a hamster wheel just running through life and you're getting nowhere. Well, having goals can help with that. Or you feel like you're working for nothing and getting nowhere and no direction, or you're not sure, kind of like we talked about with the days, that just kind of, you can go through life like that too. So hopefully after we get done talking about this, it'll give you some ideas and give you a tool that you can use to maybe to help with that. There was a study done back in the 70s or early 80s by Harvard Business School that talked about goals, and it said that those that set goals, 14% of people that set goals would be 10 times more successful than those that didn't, 10 times, and that was just setting a goal. Then if you write your goal down, it was said that those that wrote it down out of that 14% were 3 times more successful or more likely to hit their goal. So just by writing your goal down, you can be, 300 times more likely to hit your goal than those that, for one, don't have a goal, but like I said, 3 times more than have goals. Because just having a goal in your head or thinking about it or think, yeah, this is my goal for this year, I want to do that, that's running around in there with all the other 1,500 thoughts that are going through your head, right? So how do you keep track of it and remember what it was? And I don't know if you're like me, you think about it and may have said it, and then 2 weeks later, you're like, man, what was that? What was I shooting for? So you don't have, anything that you're shooting for. So how do we do this? First of all, you have to know what you're going to set your goal as. And one of the ways you can do that is you can work backwards. So first of all, figure out what your why is. Say it's losing weight. Well, why do you want to lose weight? Well, you'll be healthier, you'll feel better. There's all kinds of things that could be. So you want to plan backwards and figure out what your why is so that you want to get there. Another example is maybe if you own a business, maybe it's I want my business, I want to make $40,000 a year from my business. Well, that's a good why. So what does that look like? How much revenue would you have to have? So in order to have a goal, you've got to know why it is and kind of have some kind of an idea of how you're going to get there. So now we're going to talk about the SMART part of it, how to set SMART goals. And I'm sure several of you have probably already heard about it or heard the acronym. It's an acronym, and I'll go over the acronym, what it stands for. Acronym. Sorry, I'm stumbling. I know people tell me they don't think I'm nervous when I'm on here, but I am. You'd think this would get easier, and I've been told that it gets easier, but it just doesn't seem to be like that right now. But anyway, so SMART goals. So your goal needs to be specific, it needs to be measurable, attainable, relevant, and on the T, I kind of like to look at that 2 ways. You need to have a time frame, and it also, to me, needs to be trackable. And I know trackable and measurable, those can kind of be the same thing, but we'll kind of talk about that a little bit as we go through the acronym. So specific. Your goal has to be specific. You can't just say, I want to lose weight, right? How much weight? If you lose a pound, you achieve your goal, right? Because you weren't specific. So you want to be specific with your goals. You want to make it something very specific. If you like I said, you want to make $40,000 profit from your business. So you could either have that as be your goal, or if you know that would mean you'd need $200,000 worth of revenue, then that could be your goal. But you have to be very, very specific and know what that's going to get you. Measurable. If you want to lose 50 pounds, and is it measurable? Well, yeah, you've got a scale, right? You can get a starting weight, and then as you are going through your diet or process or whatever you're doing, you can actually get on a scale and do it. But just losing 50 pounds isn't a good goal, because is it attainable? Yes, it is, but in what time frame? Is losing 50 pounds in a month attainable? I doubt it. If there's a diet out there like that, please let me know, because I could definitely use it. But anyway, so you want to make sure that it's an attainable goal. Relevant. Is it relevant? If your goal is to get in better health and better shape, then yeah, losing 50 pounds is relevant. So yeah, that is something that you want to do. And then a time frame. So again, like I said, losing 50 pounds in a month. I mean, yeah, that is a time frame, but it's obviously not a realistic time frame. So maybe you would say in a year. I mean, that's like more realistic of a time frame, right? So you could say, okay, I want to lose 50 pounds in a year. I guess my wife's over here telling me I'm moving around too much, so I need to quit moving. I guess I get fidgety when I'm nervous, so that's why I'm moving around. But I definitely feel better when I'm moving, so I don't know if I'm going to listen to her. You're going to have to keep watching me rock around. Anyway, yeah, so now I lost my track. Oh, time frame, and then trackable. And we'll get to the trackable part in just a minute as we go through this. And so when you're setting your goals, people are like, well, how many goals can I have, or what should I set goals for? You can have 10 or 20 goals going at a time, right? Because if you want to, as we said, we went over the numbers on the statistics on those that had goals, how much more successful they are. So if you wanted to be able to hit these things or make changes in your life, obviously you're going to be more successful if you have goals. Hey, Caitlin, how are you doing? Anyway, so you could have 10 to 20 goals going at one time. You could have personal goals, you could have spiritual goals, you could have relationship goals, business goals. You could have goals for all sorts of things. So one of the things that you want to do with goals, getting back to the trackable part, once you've set your goal, you want to have milestones. And, you can have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 milestones, whatever different things you can track to help keep you on track, and maybe to refocus and maybe shift that goal or how you're going to get there a little bit as you're going. So let's go back to the weight loss. You want to lose 50 pounds in a year. I think that's a realistic goal. So if you do the math, that's basically 4 pounds a month. So maybe for the first milestone, you do want to start off that first month, you want to lose 4 pounds. Or another milestone might be, how are you going to do that? What's the first milestone you can do to do that? So maybe you have a bad habit of eating ice cream. Mine's ice cream. I eat an ice cream in the evening. So maybe I'm going to cut out ice cream in the evening, or my milestone for the end of May is that I'm not going to eat. We're going to have dinner, and after 7 o'clock at night, I'm not eating. So that could be the first milestone. Or maybe it's not eating after 7 and cutting out ice cream. Maybe those would be my first milestone. And I have a goal by the end of May to do that and make notes to track, how I'm doing on that. So then milestone number 2 may be, okay, if I'm, 50 pounds overweight, trying to lose it, and I'm out of shape, maybe my next milestone would be to go to the gym twice a month or twice a week by the end of June. I want to be, signed up to a gym, or going for a walk, or riding my bike, or whatever that looks like. Have another milestone that you can track, and then make notes of how you're going to do that. Exactly what that's going to look like. You can have several milestones in there. And the nice thing about having that is, if you're tracking these milestones on your path there, let's say all of a sudden now you're seeing that you're doing better and you're losing 6, 7, 8 pounds a month. So you can actually take that goal and shift it a little bit and maybe move it up. Or, there may be certain things that you're doing that are prohibiting your goal that you need to shift, that, hey, maybe this isn't working. I need to do something different. And that could be like with a diet too. You could say, maybe you're going on some kind of a diet. Well, I'm going to try this diet. Well, this isn't working for me. And this month I didn't lose those 4 pounds. So I need to do something different. So it's a way that you can kind of track it and change that goal and shift it a little bit. One of the things you can do when you get to the goal or on your path there is, did you accomplish it? And the nice thing about having these notes as you're going is, maybe you don't accomplish your goal. Maybe you only lose 45 pounds. So, technically, did you hit your goal in that year? No, but what did you learn in there? Maybe you learned that the lesson learned is, if, let's say I was 250 pounds and my goal was to lose the 50 to be down to 200 pounds, and I only got to 205. And maybe I was there for 3 or 4 months prior to that goal, and didn't matter what I did, I couldn't get there. Maybe 205 is where you need to be. So the lesson learned in there is, you know what? 205 is where my body wants to be. And as long as you're eating, if you're doing the things you want, if your goal is to feel better, to be in shape, and so you were going to the gym, you're eating right, that may just be where you're going to be. But you can always learn lessons from your goals. So that way, when you set another goal, you know, maybe there's something in there that you can take that helps you with your next goal or something else you've done there. Like I said, the key to all of this is to write it down. If you want to be in that top 3% of those that do, first of all, have a goal. So you're in the 14%. 86% of people don't even have goals. So have a goal. So be in that 14% that is going to be 10 times more likely to make their goal. And if you really want to be in that top elite class, to be in that top 3% of that 14%, which is, you can do the math, what percent of the people that is, but write it down. And then, like I said, the last part on that T is trackable. Track the goal, and you don't look like 205. Oh, is that good or bad, Caitlin? I just got a comment that said I don't look 205. So does that, am I heavier or lighter? I don't know how to take that, Caitlin. And I'm not going to tell you where I'm at either. Anyway, so you want to make that trackable. So yeah, hopefully you guys got some good information out of this. You can use it. I give you all this because it's things I'm working on. I didn't come up with this. Obviously, the SMART goals have been around. Somebody way smarter than me has been hammered this in my head, and it's one of the things that I know I'm personally working on for myself, for our business, and I don't always go back and update them and track them like I need to, but it's one of the things, kind of like the time tracking, that I'm working on, just constantly trying to do things a little bit better, and hopefully I can bring some value to you. So I hope you got something out of this. If you're out there and you want to make a smart move or have a smart goal, and maybe you want to see about upgrading your cleaning company, we do, obviously we do commercial cleaning. If you're out there, you can go to pjsak.com/upgrade me. It should be at the bottom of your screen right there. Go there and get a little bit of information, and we'll be in touch with you. So have a great weekend. And again, like I said, next week will be Friday at 1:30 again. I got another appointment, and then after that, we should be back on Thursdays at 1:30. So we'll talk to you again next week.